Here we are again on the Glencrutchery Road in Douglas, awaiting the start of proceedings for the 2011 Manx Grand Prix Senior Day. In the morning we shall have the senior race, and in the afternoon the classic Superbike race and the junior post-classic race, which is a combined race. All very exciting, and the anticipation builds, albeit the clouds build also, which is typical of the Isle of Man, and things take a little while to get warmed up, but slowly that's exactly what happens. Number 6 is Mick Godfrey's big Suzuki, which is due to play a large part in the afternoon's racing, but more of that later. His team are already busy. Next to him is bike number 20, Jussi Luoma from Finland. This is a Gutsi variation, and Jussi and Jarmo Malinen, numbers 20 and 22, typified the efforts of privateer races, which is exactly what the Manx Grand Prix is all about. This little scene takes us to the exit of the scrutineering area, and the first significant bike that we should see is the Suzuki Trident Engineering replica, which will be ridden in the main race this afternoon by Michael Dunlop. Unfortunately, Michael had problems quite early in the race and didn't complete his first lap, but it's a wonderfully turned out replica bike of a 1970s Suzuki, and the rider's eye view of riding this thing is quite intriguing and daunting at the same time. And there in the scrutineering area is the Yamaha TZ250, which is Chris Palmer's bike. Chris Palmer from the Isle of Man, and that figured large in the junior post classic race. Number 15 is Ken Davis's bike. That too is an afternoon race machine. Ken Davis riding a Yamaha. Back to the Park Ferme area now, where we see Neil Vickers' Honda number 46 and David Lumsden's Yamaha, and under the umbrella we see number 68 Glenn Harrison's Suzuki. Glenn Harrison is from Onken on the Isle of Man. And there we see number 41. This is David Sleeth's Suzuki GSXR 750, which is in the senior race. Mike Min's R6 Yamaha being run up quietly by one of his team there. Mike Mins has been successful in previous years' Manx, We'll see what the afternoon holds for him. This time the Suzuki GSX-R 750 belonging to Robert Simcock from Hazelgrove in Cheshire. And bike number 4 is the R6 Yamaha belonging to Dan Sale from the Isle of Man, who was, or has in the past, acted as passenger for Dave Molyneux in the sidecar TT, but here he rides very successfully as a solo rider in the Manx. One of the higher numbered riders now, Jonathan Woodward, on a Triumph Daytona. Jonathan is a newcomer. He too is an Isle of Man resident from Kirkmichael. The distinctive noise there of one of the support helicopters warming up on the landing pad there, the other side of the trees, next to the police headquarters. The support helicopters are critical to the safety procedures during racing on the Isle of Man. So long since the days of Tony Godfrey being the first person on the TT to be rescued by helicopter as a result of a major accident, and they play a very significant role these days in what goes on in racing. The helicopter takes to the skies and we look back down the Parc Fermé area and we see number 47 Ross Richards GSX-R 600 Suzuki receiving its pre-race checks. Bike 45 there is David Yeoman's R6 Yamaha, and bike number 58 belongs to Adrian Lowe. It's a Suzuki GSX-R. And Trevor Ferguson from Northern Ireland looks on anxiously as his Suzuki number 20 is attended to by none other than Ryan Farquhar, who too played a very significant role in the afternoon's racing, as well as very regularly in the TT. And there's Ryan. Bike 19 there is Alan Bud Jackson's machine, and alongside him is number 9, the Aprilia of David Milling. Very distinctive sounding machine, V-twin of course. The bikes of Mike Minns and David Sleeth again. He wouldn't have been out of place during the VMCC rally riding an Indian. I'm sure he'll forgive me my little joke. So the build-up continues as the time of the race start draws closer. Some jobs finished, some jobs to be done, starts to be rehearsed, Braehill to be contemplated. Well, at last we are on the start line, and there's a member of the House of Keys, Mr. Corkish, with another government representative walking away from the starter there as the bikes begin to assemble. There's Andrew Brady's bike, number 8, and this is Dan Sale's machine being wheeled forward. This being a lower numbered machine, number 4. And alongside the green machine there, number 1, Michael Sweeney, we can see Michael Dunlop getting agitated, waiting for somebody to show, and here they come. So his prayers are answered. We can also see on the right there Sean Anderson's machine, bike number 6. You can also see the back of 1 or 2 other photographers, which are rather annoying. So there's another view of Michael Dunlop from the other side of the track. Still just as crowded though. Michael Sweeney limbers up before climbing aboard the number 1 bike and receives final instructions from Michael Dunlop there. Next in line I think is David Lumsden, and behind him of course Dan Sale, and in the black and white leather should be Stephen McKnight, number 5, and he should be followed by number 6, Sean Anderson. The yellow machine there is Grant Wagstaff, number 7, who featured prominently throughout the race, and behind him should be Andrew Brady, number 8, who was even more prominent. That should be Dave Milling, number 9, with the Dayglow wheels on the Aprilia, and he should be followed by Andrew Farrell, number 10, on his Suzuki. And number 19, which we saw in the Park Ferme area, is Alan Jackson, and behind him number 20 is Trevor Ferguson, and number 21 is Dennis Booth, a promoted rider who fell well behind on the first lap. Just going out of shot is number 22 Ross Johnson on his Yamaha, and he's followed by Dave Mulligan, number 23, also on a Yamaha. Number 27 there is Peter Symes on his Suzuki, followed by number 28 Glyn Jones, neither of whom appeared to finish the first lap according to the timekeeper's report. And there we see the bikes that we've just been watching moving closer to the starter and the start line and the off. Unlike the TT, the riders do not go off in pairs, they go off, as you can see, singly. We've now got as far as number 31, David Taylor on his Suzuki. The rider with the yellow helmet there is number 32, Michael Mulai on his Suzuki, and the rider behind him is number 33, promoted rider Daniel Millard. Dayglow wheels belong to number 35, William Cowden, and number 36 is Chris Summons on his 750 Suzuki. A clear view there in the red leathers of number 40, Ian Shaw, and behind him David Sleeth, who we looked at in the paddock. And number 42 in the green leathers is Adam Jones on his 600 Kawasaki. Just going out of shot, number 43 Tom Llewellyn, and coming into shot, number 44 Robert Knight, and close behind him is number 45 Carl Roberts, and he's followed by number 46 Neil Vickers on his Honda. The number sequence is intact. Number 47 is Ross Richards on a 600 Suzuki. A brief reprise as Adam Jones on his green Kawasaki approaches the line. 2 to go, heart pounding. Followed by number 43, Tom Llewellyn, and then 44, Robert Knight in the white leathers there. 45 in the black leathers is Carl Roberts, and he will be followed by number 46, Neil Vickers on his Honda, we looked at just now. And then 47, Ross Richards on his Suzuki. intermediate line there is number 66, Darren Creer, and in front of him is number 64, Carl Forster on his Yamaha. And in the fluorescent pink outfit there is number 62, Dean Martin on his Honda. And as these lads leave the line, of course, people who've gone before are already well round the circuit, which is the one thing that restricts the size of the fields on the Isle of Man races. Otherwise the leading riders would be running into the rear of the starting competitors, which clearly is not something which can be allowed to happen. Out bike number 68 there with the pink helmet. That's Glenn Harrison on his 600 Suzuki. He's followed by number 69, Mick Jordan in the blue leathers, and on the white machine there, number 70, Scott Prix, and number 71 is Jonathan Woodward. And Stephen Carr on his classical green Kawasaki is number 72. This is number 73, Brian Appleton. He's underway. That's John Batty, number 76, with the mustard coloured flash on his blue leathers. So this should be number 77, Shelley Pike, female competitor on her Yamaha. And this is number 78, Jason Brewster on his 750cc Suzuki. Followed by 79, Peter Creer on the smaller Honda. This is number 80, Emmett Burke on his 600 Yamaha, and he's followed by number 81, David Clark on his smaller 600cc Yamaha. The white and pink leathers there, newcomer number 84, Tony Wilson on his 600 Yamaha. Des Evans, the marshal, ducks across my line of fire there, but in the blue leathers must be newcomer 85, Stuart Hall on his 600 Honda. Yellow seat pan there, the rider with an almost unpronounceable name, number 87, Tuka Korhonen from Finland. I hope I've done justice to his name. And behind him is 88, Chris Sarbora. The ochre coloured seat pan there belongs to number 89, Sean Evans, another newcomer on his Honda. And I assume the bright pink machine there is number 90. I'm unable to identify the final man away, number 90, and he's followed by the Marshal, who comes very briefly into shot. I recorded the race itself with still pictures, and so here we have a sequence beginning with number 39, Andy Lovett, who's in 40th place at this point, and he's followed by Bill Cowden, who's 57th, number 35, and he's followed by Bob Farrington in 27th place, and then Daryl McGowan, unfortunately number 49, pulls into the pits to retire. Meanwhile, number 72, Stephen Carr, goes straight through in front of the grandstand, and he's followed by number 60, Keith Mackay, who's in 46th place, and he's followed by number 75, Tony Limer, and finally in this sequence number 76, John Batty, in 66th place. At the end of lap 2, the riders come into their pit areas, and the sequence we have now is the 5th place man, Michael Sweeney, number 1, followed by the 9th place man, Andy Farrell, bike number 10, and he's followed by bike number 12, Peter Symes, who's in 13th place, Rab Davey, number 17, who's in 16th place, and Alan Jackson, number 19, who's actually in 39th place. Michael Mulai, number 32, is in 15th place, and he's followed by David Taylor, number 31, who's actually in 31st place. Carl Roberts, number 45, is in 45th place, and now we have two machines in view, Billy Smith, who's in 50th place, and Tom Llewellyn, who's in 23rd place. Andy Lovett, meanwhile, number 39, is in 35th place. Adam Jones is in 28th place. Robert Knight, bike number 44, is in 27th place. Bill Cowden, number 35, is in 56th place. Neil Vickers, number 46, is in 43rd place. Carl Foster, number 64, is much further up the order in 14th place. Meanwhile, Robert Simcock, number 52, is in 42nd place. Adrian Cox, number 38, is in 59th place. Rider number 40, Ian Shaw, is one place in front in 58th place. And Adrian Logue, bike number 58, is in 38th place. Tim Devlin, bike 67, is in 21st place, much further up the order, but Paul Battersea, one behind on the road, bike 57, is 46th position. And here we have number 41, David Sleeth, 62nd position. Dean Martin, number 62, is in 44th place, and bike number 73, Brian Appleton, who's in 25th place. Jonathan Woodward on his Triumph, bike number 71, is in 29th position, and Scott Prix, bike number 70, is in 40th position. Mick Jordan, bike number 69, is in 47th place. Darren Creer, bike 66, is in 52nd place. Stuart Hall, much further up the order, a higher riding number, 85, is in 22nd place. And he's followed by Glenn Harrison, bike 68, who's in 53rd place. This is, after all, a time trial. Bike number 84, Tony Wilson, is in 30th position. Jason Brewster, bike number 78, is 48th. Peter Creer, bike number 79, is 49th. Sean Evans, rider number 89, is in 34th place. Mark Goodings, rider number 82, is in 51st place. David Clark, bike number 81, is 57th position. Tony Limer, rider number 75, is in 60th position on his Kawasaki. Shelley Pike, rider number 77, very creditably 61st, and Stephen Carr, number 72, is in 64th position. That brings us to the end of lap 3, and now the race is taking shape. Here we see the leader, number 8, Andrew Brady, followed by number 6 in 3rd position, Sean Anderson, followed by machine number 1, Michael Sweeney, who's now 5th position. Dan Sale, who's one ahead of him, in 4th position with bike number 4. Stephen McKnight, bike number 5, who's in 6th position. Andrew Farrell, rider number 10, who's in 7th position. And rider number 3, David Lumsden, who's in 12th position. Peter Symes, bike number 12, who's in 11th position. The 20th starter, Trevor Finnegan, who's in 10th position. He's followed by number 23, who's in 18th position, Dave Milligan, followed by number 14, Mike Minns, who's in 36th position. So he's had a hard race. Carl Roberts, number 45, is 13th. Adam Jones, number 42, is 23rd. Andy Levitt, number 39, is 34th. Tom Llewellyn, number 43, is 21st. Ross Richards, number 47, is 30th. Carl Foster, number 64, is up in 15th place. Number 51, bike number 51, Bob Farrington, is 35th. And here we see Neil Vickers, number 46, in 41st position. Robert Simcock, number 52, is in 38th position. Bill Cowden again, number 35, who's in 52nd position. And lastly, for these still images, Tim Devlin, who's in 22nd position, bike number 67. And there we have the results. Andrew Brady first, Grant Wadstaff second, and Dan Sale on his Yamaha third. And there we see Dan Sale with his young son in the first enclosure into which the riders are ushered as they turn in off the grandstand course. And he's greeted by his wife. I should think so too. And next we see Andrew Brady with one of his support team. And another little group there. And now we've got the similar scene in video with the Manx radio interviewer hearing what Andrew Brady has to say about the last hour and a half. Plenty, I guess. And the bikes are then lined up for the first of the 3 opportunities for the general public to see the rostrum finishers close up. And there's the second place man, Grant Wagstaff, that we haven't seen a great deal of, talking to his little team, and he too is extremely happy about what went on, and the can of cold drink will make all the difference. And now Dan Sale's little family again, a mixture of relief, I guess, and supreme satisfaction with what they've achieved. Well done, Dan. Another still image of the little family group. I wonder if these two will follow after their dad. Grant Wagstaff continuing to wind down after the excitement, and then back again for a quick shot of Andrew Brady there, still being congratulated. And now all 3 riders are going over to the main grandstand area for the podium presentation of the trophies. That obviously is the Manx Grand Prix Senior Trophy, standing in front of Andrew Brady's winning machine. It's a splendid trophy it is too, but hard won. And the bikes being lined up for the perfect picture. And Jeff Corkish there, the tourism minister, will make the presentations.
Riding the Yamaha in second place, Grant Wagstaff. Is sponsored by VisitIrelandBand.com. From Northern Ireland, riding a Suzuki. It's a junior and senior double for Andrew Brady. This year, as we now hold an anthem of the national anthem of the national anthem of the United Kingdom.
These still images of the same scenes are pretty self-explanatory. Extreme pleasure, sense of achievement, and every other emotion in between. Well done, young men. Another shot of the trophy in all its glory. Tremendous. And that's gentlemen in Andrew Brady's support team. And there's Andrew Brady himself, member of the Martin Bullock Manx Sport team, who won on his 750cc. His average race speed was 113.78 miles an hour. What always amazes me is because of the length of the field and the delayed start intervals, riders are still coming through the finishing line as these proceedings are drawn to a close.
Get in the shot. Hey. Where's Rich and the boys? Get in there, boys.
Grant Wagstaff takes his turn on the interviewer's microphone.
That's great. Thanks to all the organisers. And I also have to say thanks to Speedy, Nigel Speedy John. I came over the first time over the newcomer and I was with the Mike Howard Foundation Trust. And I have to say, any newcomers that are ever coming over there, please try and go on that. Without that, I'll probably be announced being incredibly polite with you from the programme of Black Belt to some conduct. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've been training many years now. A good friend of mine, one of my main sponsors, Yogi Chan Institute, he's our main instructor, one of my best friends as well.
And finally the winner, Andrew Brady, gets the opportunity to explain how it all went as he winds down from the elation of crossing that finishing line.
Tell us about the team. With the conditions today, from 750 were concerns about tyres, tuned up that and that's not for the Dover. No, that's just for to make it a partnership.
something of an anticlimax now as we return to the Park Fairmay, and there we see all the bikes that have just raced in the morning's senior event lined up. I believe that the winning bikes are checked and measured to see that they conform to specification. I don't know whether individual bikes are then selected from within the total field, but nevertheless there they all are in a compound, and the riders will be allowed to take them when the now a real treat for the folk in the grandstand, for the spectators around the 37.5 mile circuit, and indeed if you listen carefully for John McGuinness himself, as John McGuinness does a lap of honour around the circuit on closed roads, possibly the only man ever to have done this, and he was certainly made up, as the expression goes, at the thought of being allowed to do it on the most famous course in the world. Listen to what he has to say.
It's bringing back memories of a double success in the two big bike races at TT this year, and well, what a lap you're about to experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something I always wanted to do, you know. I'm obviously watching TT on telly, and as being a kid watching the first time I come across in 82, you know, Graham Crosby and all the boys actually here as well, you know. And, you know, I was thinking to myself, you know, I'd just love to ride around, and you know, here we are winning a few, and we've got the, you know, the most famous circuit in the world to myself for 20 minutes, so that is something special. I'm really looking forward to it. It's fantastic to ride around this track with how many pressures, you know. Normally there's 8 other guys chasing me down like there was a few months ago, and this time I can just ride around my own pace with the spectators, and hopefully just enjoy the lap, be safe, and a few drinks and something, enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Yeah, no, the rest of the day,
As John talks to the Manx radio interviewer, his bike is being prepared in the background, and he's ready to go, I guess. We shall see.
We've got the most famous track in the world to myself. It's mine for 20 minutes.
The helmet goes on, and he's ready to go.
behind the...
And now the afternoon's racing. Two relatively small fields of less than 25 each in a combined race, which still makes for most interesting racing and unexpected results.
No, I said it, but I regret it.
In the opening shot we saw Ryan Farquhar's bike, number 1, drawn up at the front, and there we have Mark Buckley's Suzuki immediately behind it. And there we have bike number 10, Neil Vickers GCXR Suzuki. And come forward we see bike 5, John Barton's bike, which is also the Suzuki of the same spec. And there's bike number 6, Mike Godfrey's Suzuki, Formula 1. And so it's all building up for the start of the first wave of racers who form the classic Superbike race. Michael Dunlop in race gear now, talking to the Manx radio interviewer. Unfortunately, Michael's race stopped with mechanical trouble relatively early in the first lap, which will spoil the spectacle somewhat. Bike number 7 is Chris McGann's 850 BSA triple. The BSA and Triumph bikes were badge engineered at that time, on stage of the British motorcycle industry. That's the BSA badge. The rider in yellow, donning his helmet, is Neil Vickers, and he will be riding his big Suzuki, rider number 10. Des Evans, the original chief travelling marshal, looks on impassively.
I didn't understand the timing system and whatnot.
And the first rider is expected at the front. And here he comes, Ryan Farquhar. And there's number 2, Mark Buckley, in the green and white leathers. And number 3, Michael Dunlop, walking down already at the rear of his machine. followed by number 5, John Bart. Testing front suspension. Number 6 is Mick Godfrey, whose bike we looked at just now. Ryan has just left the line, and there goes Mark Buckley. Leaves the line, and then Chris McGann pulls forward on his PSA triple. And this is Andy Levitt, number 8 on his 750 Suzuki. We didn't see him in close up at the start. And this is Neil Vickers, rider number 10 on his 750 Suzuki. And bike number 11 edges forward is Dave Madsen Migdal, the local man, on this huge Kawasaki 1045cc Kawasaki, and he leaves the line in fine style. And he's followed by machine number 12, Dave Taylor on his Yamaha, and machine number 14, no 13 remember, is Nigel Ray on his 750 Suzuki. Rider number 15 is Ken Davis on his 750cc Yamaha. Rider 16 is the familiar face of Davey Morgan on his 750 Suzuki. And rider 18 is Maria Costello MBE in her familiar black and gold leathers. And she's followed by rider number 19, Alec Whitwell, on his 750 Suzuki, a member of the Funky Monk racing team. What a name. And number 20 is our Finnish competitor, Jussi Luoma, on his 973 Guzzi. Followed by another Finn, his compatriot Jarmo Malinen on his 948cc Ducati, machine number 22. And that completes the entry for the Classic Superbike race, and this is now followed by the Junior Post-Classic field, which is a field of similar size. The first machine we see is number 30, Chris Palmer's 250 Yamaha. Chris is a local man these days, he lives in Castletown. Behind him is bike number 31, ridden by Roy Richardson, the Blackpool supporter, Blackpool Football Club that is. And behind him, bike 33, Phil McGurk. 34, Brian Mateer. And there's bike 30, Chris Palmer on the line, ready to go. And Roy Richardson braves the smoke, makes some of his own, and he too leaves the line. And here's Phil McGurk. These early bikes are all 2 strokes, hence the smoke. And here's bike 35, Stuart Garton on his Yamaha. 37, Washie Brown. 38 is Mark Parrott. And rather unusual, Armstrong. 39 is Barry Davidson on his Yamaha. And 40 is Peter Symes on his 250 Honda. And behind him is number 42, Tony Russell on his Yamaha. 43 is Dean Martin on his 350 Yamaha. And we're back to the start line now. Number 40 to the side. Number 2 there, Tony Russell. Dean Martin. 44, Derek Glass on his 250 Yamaha. 45, the man with the unpronounceable name, Mark Wachowski on his Yamaha. And back up the field there, you can see number 50 and 51. 51 is the Kawasaki of the Untitled. And there's bike number 50. Bob Price and his Kawasaki. And there's 51, Ian Pert, the newcomer on his Kawasaki. And last but not least, bringing up the rear, the travelling marshal. For the racing proper, we rely on still images, and at the end of lap 1, the first bike to appear is Ryan Farquhar, who's in the lead, bike number 1. He's followed by Mark Buckley, number 2 on his Suzuki, and he's followed by number 5, John Barton, in 3rd place on his Suzuki. Mick Godfrey on bike number 6, that we've seen a reasonable amount of, is 4th, and there's the 6th place man, Andy Lovett, on bike number 8. And he's followed by bike number 7, that's in 12th position, Chris McGahn. And Neil Vickers, riding bike number 10, is in 9th position, followed by local man Dave Migdal. He's in 8th position. And then we see Ken Davis in the 7th position on bike 15, and David Taylor, rider number 12, in 11th position. Davy Morgan, bike 16, is in 5th position because he was a higher numbered starter. Nigel Ray, bike number 14, is 13th. And then we see the first of the smaller bikes, Roy Richardson, in 1st position in the Junior Classic race. He's followed by Phil McGann in 6th position, bike 33. And the 3rd place man is number 35, Stuart Garton. And then we see one of our Finnish friends, number 20, from the other class, who's in 14th position. And we go back to the smaller bikes, Barry Davidson in 5th place on bike 39. Watty Brown in 9th place on bike 37. And Peter Symes in 8th place on bike number 40. And then the second of our Finnish gentlemen, Jarmo Malinen, in 15th position in the larger class, followed by Dave Milling in 7th place on bike 49, Derek Glass in 11th place on bike 44, Tony Russell in 14th place on bike 42, Sean Anderson in 13th place on bike 46, and then rider number 50, Bob Price, in 10th position. And the unpronounceable name again, Mark Wikowski, with his Rossi helmet, he's in 16th position. And then Stephen Carr on bike 48 is in 15th position. Dean Martin's coming in by the look of it, he's in 17th position. And Ian Pert is in 18th position. That concludes our images from the first lap, and now at the end of lap 2, the first bike we see is Ryan Farquhar, number 1, but he has now been relegated to 2nd place, so clearly Mark Buckley, who is now in 1st place, is gaining. And then we see John Barton in 3rd place on bike number 5, Mick Godfrey on bike number 6 in 4th position, Andy Lovett on bike number 8 running in 5th place, and Dave Magden Migdal running in 7th place on bike 11. Ken Davis, riding number 15, is in 6th place. And now the first place man in the smaller class, Roy Richardson, number 31. He's followed by Neil Vickers, riding number 10 in the larger class. And then we see Chris Palmer in 2nd place, behind Roy Richardson. And now Alec Whitwell in the larger class, who's in 8th position, bike 19, and alongside him there is bike 12, David Taylor, in 11th position. Stuart Garton there, 35, is 3rd in the smaller class. He's followed by 4th place man Brian Mateer. And then Phil McGurk, riding number 33, who's in 6th position. But Barry Davidson, bike number 39, a slightly later starter, is in fact in 5th place on the clock. Watty Brown, number 37, is in 9th place. And Peter Symes, riding number 40, is in 8th place. Dave Milling, in the white leathers there, is in 7th position in the small class. And then we catch up with our Finnish friend, Jussi Luoma. And then it's back to Derek Glass, number 44, in 11th place. Bob Price, number 50, who's in 10th place. Tony Russell, number 42, in 14th place. And Henry Bell, number 47, who's in 12th place. And then it's back to our friendly Finn again, number 22, Jarmo Malinen. And then we have Sean Anderson, number 46, in 13th place. Stephen Carr in 15th place on bike number 48. And lastly, Marek Makowski goes straight through on bike number 45 in 16th position. So here we are at the end of the 3rd lap, with the riders now going through the start-finish line to begin their 4th lap. And the first rider through is Ryan Farquhar, who's still in second place because Mark Buckley is close behind him. Then comes bike number 51, who's 17th in the preceding race. And then we have Andy Levitt on bike number 8, who's in 5th place in the larger class. And then we see Roy Richardson, the first of the smaller class, still leading, followed by Chris Palmer on bike number 30. And then Ken Davis from the larger class again, number 15, followed by Dave Madsen Migdal. It obviously gets quite confusing now as the race comes to its close. Neil Vickers is bike number 10, who's in 9th place, and David Taylor is in 10th position on bike number 12. Then we see the 3rd and 4th place men in the smaller class, Stuart Garton, bike 35, and Brian Mateer, bike 34. And they're followed by 2 of the larger class men in 8th and 11th place, Alec Wickwell, bike number 19, and Nigel Ray, bike number 14. Then back to the smaller class again, bike 39, Barry Davidson, who's 5th, and Phil McGurk, who's 7th. And the next bike through is number 49, Dave Milling, having a rather better race this time in 6th position. He retired earlier in the week. Peter Symes, bike number 40, in 8th position. And then our Finnish friend, Jussi Luoma, who's in 13th position. And Derek Glass in 10th position in the smaller class. And now the 4th lap, the finish of the 4th lap. There's the winner, slightly obscured by a marshal's gloves, but Ryan Farquhar, a worthy winner. We can fast forward into the winner's enclosure there. There's Roy Richardson on bike number 31. And in a moment or two, we shall see Chris Palmer answer the gentleman's question. There he is, bike number 30. But the larger bikes are already in position there on the initial podium. And then immediately Chris Palmer is chatting to one of his crewmen, saying that's the 3rd bottle of champagne he's had this week. Very well done too, Chris.
Sorry, can you just take this further down because it's been shrinking in?
And here comes the 3rd place man in the smaller class, Stuart Garton, on his 250 Yamaha.
Yeah, no, it's alright. He's riding so well, the bike's going well as well. I've got 3 races this week, 3 podiums and 3 bottles of champagne, so that'll do me.
And he takes off his helmet and is immediately surrounded by one photographer. Chris Palmer again.
I know, no, thank you, buddy, thank you, on the podium, It was the gearbox, it was between gears everywhere.
There's Dan Sale, who was 3rd in this morning's race, offering his congratulations to Chris Palmer. And now we see the larger bikes lined up in front of the main podium, and the riders will go up onto the upper level there and receive their justly deserved trophies and the acclaim of the crowd behind me in the grandstand. There we have Ryan in the middle, Mick Godfrey on the right about to receive his award, and John Barton in second place in the green leathers on the left.
The other man riding a Suzuki, John Barton. Superbike Grand Prix, sponsored by a classic racer from Northern Ireland, riding a Suzuki. His 9th Manx Grand Prix win and a hat-trick in the week for Ryan Farquhar. He presents the silver trophy to Ryan Farquhar, and he shows it to the photographers and the spectators.
And now one or two of my still images of Ryan there with his laurel wreath. And the trophy. And then we're back to the video action with the champagne spray. Not too much was wasted, I don't think. Spoke too soon. Nick Godfrey got some in the eye. And now it's the final photo session with the riders, their machines, their trophies, their garlands, their smiles, their team members. Doesn't need a great deal of description, I don't think.
Colburn, did you get one?
I haven't mentioned before in this little film, but the trophies today have been presented by Graham Crosby, who was a Suzuki rider, a TT Formula 1 world champion, and there he is in the background with Ryan Farquhar. The bike which Graham Crosby rode was the original Suzuki XR69, and John Sims has replicated this for modern riders, which of course include Michael Dunlop's in today's racing. Back to the photographs, and there's second place man John Barton and a very proud looking Mick Godfrey with his green third place man's hat. And a wide grin for the photographer. Well done, Mick. And that's pretty much it. Is it an anti-climax? I don't know. I haven't just ridden round 3 or 4 laps of the circuit at the speeds at which these gentlemen ride. Anyway, it's not quite the end, because now we have the smaller class riders and winners. Roy Richardson, Chris Palmer and Stuart Garton to take their turn with their machines, with the podium, with the champagne, with the presentations, with the photographers. And so we'll watch that without too much.
I'm drinking, mate! Yours, come That's your job.
And to conclude, just a few of my still images of what we've just seen on film. Roy Richardson there in the centre, Chris Palmer on the left and Stuart Garrett on the right. Roy, as I've said before, is a firm supporter of Blackpool Football Club, so his colours of orange is the colour of Blackpool's famous football strip. There's Stuart Garton, and there's Roy and Chris, with Graham Cosby in the background. Stuart Garton looks as though he's sprouted angel's wings, but I suspect that's not the case. And here are the race results of the two races that we've watched today. Classic Superbike, won by Ryan Farquhar at a speed of 113.437, second John Barton, and third Mick Godfrey. And the smaller junior post-classic class, still over the 4 laps, Roy Richardson on his Yamaha at 108.823 miles an hour, Chris Palmer slightly slower, 107.9, and Stuart Garton. And so that concludes our little film of the Manx Grand Prix for 2011 Senior Day. Until next year, au revoir.